Good afternoon, everyone. It is good to be here. As always, I feel blessed. I feel grateful and thankful to have one more opportunity to be here, to speak to anyone, and hopefully help someone in any way I can, either here or outside in the world on the streets. This video is about homeschooling. Homeschool is the best school. I think that'll be the tagline. Is there a biblical foundation for it? Yes, I believe there is. Let me just start off by saying, remember those moments with your child when you first taught them things. To ride their bike or play catch or whatever it may have been. You were able to do that. You even taught them some letters before they even got to school. You were able to do that. You are able to do a lot more now than you were 10 years ago. There's more resources out there than there was 10 years ago. There's so many ways you can homeschool your own child, because here's the thing. Your morals are not the same morals as a school system will have. Your ideas and what they should learn are not the same as the school system. And their idea of math sometimes changes, even though it's the same. It's a different system. We all know Common Core. We all know that you have to show a certain way. I've told a story about how my son looked at a whiteboard, figured out the answer in his head. He knew the answer. He just looked at it, deduced it, boom, had it done. I'm not saying he's some kind of MIT prodigy genius. I'm not saying that. Oh, my son's better than yours. I'm not saying that at all. But he figured it out. But here was the problem. He has to do it the way they say that has to be done. You have to fill out the answer. I forget how you call it, but they had to work out the problem the way they want to, not the way they can, and the child can do, not the way you at home could do, and still have the same answer. You might have 7 steps longer. You might have 2 steps shorter, and you know you can figure out the answer. Math is math. It's the answer that matters, not how you got there. I firmly believe if you put these stipulations in 50 years ago or further, you wouldn't have any Einsteins. His school, and they probably wouldn't allow him to think outside the box. Think about that for a moment. But I wanted to go to a couple scriptures which I think, in my opinion, validate homeschooling, how important it is. Not only for Christians, I mean, obviously, especially for Christians, because you follow the Bible. But even for secular people, these are your children. These are your children. I'm going to start at Proverbs 1, verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Now, your mother teaches you. Your father instructs you. So the world your father takes care of. Your mother is the one in that home that keeps you solid, teaches you how to do these certain things. And I know that people go, oh, like the old days, and oh, the girl should bake cookies, and the son, oh, stop with that silliness. That's not what I'm talking about. But I think it's obvious just in that by itself that homeschool is important. But I'm going to go now over to Proverbs 22, I believe verse 6. Yeah, flip over there. Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Notice it didn't say school system train up your child. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. He won't depart from it. So he won't depart from the school system, the institutionalization, the indoctrination. A lot of teachers can be like, you're crazy. We're not all here to indoctrinate. Yeah, you are. You may not fully know that you are, but you are. You're given a set standards. When you do your lesson plans, you have to do them, and you have a lesson plan that you have in the computer system that you have to go by. See, I do know that exists because I was a paraprofessional in the school system, especially in the high school system, for 8 years. And towards the end, I just couldn't take it anymore because I just saw how they were going away from education and learning to trying to manage a classroom, to try to manage behavior. Does every school system have that? No. There are some like rich school systems that don't. But even those really good school systems in the suburbs, they're not as good anymore. They've gone down when it comes to that. And does the school system cheat? It sure does. It absolutely does. Do teachers cheat? Absolutely do. Don't tell me they don't. I've watched it. I've been there, watched it. I've known of it. So I have seen it and I have heard it. Okay? From other teachers. Am I saying every teacher cheats? No. Well, do I know of one particular person where a principal sent a memo to make sure they cheated on it so they could pass the testing and get more funding? Yeah. Yeah, that happened. That's a real thing. So don't ever tell me that that's not a real thing. Because it is. And teachers, you're not getting the support in most cases you need. None at all. You're not. You need to just stick to the script. Do what you're told. Kind of like what's going on now in the world today. Get in line. You can't think outside the box. And if you try to actually give a life lesson to a child, shh, be careful. If the wrong person hears you, you might get in trouble. You can do it for a while, but be careful. Okay? You're going to get in trouble for it. I'm crazy. Yeah, okay. You keep saying that because you're in denial. And some of you have not experienced that. That's great. That's fine. I'm fantastic for that. That's awesome. But there are many who have. So let's not play that game. Let's not be in denial about that. I witnessed it for 8 years. Don't tell me it doesn't exist. It was there. Did I help kids cheat in the beginning? Yeah, I did. I didn't, I should have known better, and I do know better, and I should have went with my gut instinct. But somehow I justified it like everyone else does, and I couldn't stomach it anymore. It's terrible. You're not doing any favors to those children, so I'm glad I'm out of the system. Now, I have a high school child that I'm trying to get out of the system, and those of you who've watched my videos know why it's a little tougher, but he's going to get out soon. I also want to go to Ephesians chapter 6, 1 through 4. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Tough for your children to do that when the school system tells them they don't. That your parents are not as smart as they are. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. So the Bible's telling you that you teach your children. You teach your children. You have the ability. Stephen, I don't know certain things. I don't know Algebra 1. Okay, that's fine. There are sources out there. There are so many resources now. It's unbelievable. It is just crazy how many places you can get the information. Our two youngest ones, and again, if you watch the video, they are homeschooled. They're doing pretty well, actually. Do they make mistakes here and there like any other child does? Yeah. But you know what I don't have to worry about? I don't have to worry about other people raising my children. Other people putting their ideologies into my child's head. Can everybody homeschool? That's a great question. I think it can be done to a very large percentage. But Stephen, what about the kids who have an abusive home? Well, first of all, they shouldn't even be there. Let's get into that. We have governments who will come take a child for getting a spanking. But then a child who has crackhead parents who are beating them, they get to keep them. There are many people in this world who would just love to adopt, raise a child, but there's so much red tape. There's more hoops to jump through to save a child than to beat a child. Ain't that something? Isn't that amazing how that works? I'm going to end this video because I didn't want to make it too long. I made it longer than I wanted to, but I felt that information had to be put out there. So when you have a chance, reference Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8 rather, Proverbs 22, verse 6, and Ephesians chapter 6, 1 through 4. Reference those and you will be amazed. You can homeschool. You can do this. You're doing it right now, quarantine. You can do this. Because you are a better teacher. Because you have more stake in your child's future than the school system does. It's your child. They could never love them as much as you. Thank you for tuning into this video. I appreciate your time. And as always, God bless. I love you and have a fantastic day.